Hello, everyone. Raymond Moore, Kilted Prepper. Didn't know I was live yet. Wow, caught up on me. So, how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a good day today. It is windy, and I was just sitting here talking to Heather, and it is a chilly, -4 where she lives. So, yeah, chilly willy there. But you're watching Coffee with Ray. So today, what I thought I'd do, I talked about doing this before, is kind of doing a Q&A session and seeing what questions you might have, things I can maybe answer for you, or things, or always based upon my experience. And so if there's anything about food preps, dehydrating, gardening, electroculture, you name it, do me a favor and just post the question below, and let's start chatting. But in the meantime, I wanted to share something really cool with you. And I've been using this forever. And I think it's one of the best things ever. And this is a Smith's knife sharpener. And I've tried a lot of sharpeners out there in the past. And I just keep coming back to this little old everyday Smith sharpener. And, it's just, and it's something like 350 or something. You find them at Walmart and everything. But this has got to be the best knife sharpener I have found. And what I do a lot of times, there's days where I'm sitting here watching YouTube videos or something. I'll drag out all my knives and I'll just sit here and sharpen them and everything. But this puppy will get you a razor sharp knife. I mean, shave your arm hairs sort of sharpness. And again, it's inexpensive. And so I really like it a lot. It is one of my faves. I've been using something like this now for almost 20 years, and I lost it, and I found this on Amazon. It's like, oh wow, new knife sharpener. So did that, and I love my knife sharpener. But this is a great little knife sharpener and everything. But today's Wednesday, and I'm going to start trying doing on Wednesdays, doing Q&A, and maybe help you guys out with any questions or anything maybe I can answer. And if I can't, maybe what I can do is do some research for you and answer your question on the next Wednesday. So, but thank you so much, and you're watching Coffee with Ray. So let's see here. Heather says it feels like -5. Good morning, Holly. Love my Cutco sharpener. I used to have one of those. Those are really good. You just draw it across. It's got the little wheels inside and everything. But yeah, I used to have one of those too. And yeah, it does a good edge. But what I like about the Smith sharpener is it has the porcelain rods in it as well. So you can really get a nice, super sharp edge and things. Love my Cutco sharpener. I would like one for scissors. I have what is it? The Sharps. I believe it's made by Sharps. It's an electric sharpener that has these little mini belts on it, and I use that to actually sharpen a lot of our kitchen knives, big knives, things like that. About every other month or so, I'll whip that puppy out and sharpen all our knives in the kitchen, get them super razor sharp again, because a sharp knife is a safe knife. And so Texas Mom says, yes, I need to sharpen my knives, but the sharpest one is my hunting knives, but I don't see grandma using it. But yeah, this is a great little sharpener. Super easy to use. Just draw it across and you get a great edge. You have some steel rods here, and you have some porcelain rods here. And like I said, this puppy will get you a razor edge. In fact, I was sharpening yesterday. I don't know if you can see this, but I got a plain spot right there. I was checking my arm. Guys, how you do it? You check your arm, and I don't know, maybe it's just a guy's thing, see how much hair you can shave off and everything. So would it work for pruners? The Sharps one has actually a scissor guide. And so you could use it for scissors, and you could use it for pruners and everything. And then also you can take the guide off and sharpen your shovels, sharpen, maybe axes and hatchets and things like that. It's a great little versatile tool. They run, I want to say, somewhere around 80, 90, maybe a little bit more now. But what's neat is they come with all these different grit belts, and so it's easy to swap the belt out. So you start with a high grit, a low grit, and start sharpening to the higher grit. And I think my highest grit is something like a 3000. And so I'm really able to get some super sharp knives. Now I have to admit too that if I want a super razor, sharp knife, I have a leather wheel out in the garage, and I can run my knives across the leather wheel, and you talk about freaking scary sharp. I can get a freaking scary sharp knife with my leather wheel too. But what is it now? It's tool sharp or tool something or something like that. I'll look it up and I'll put it in the description below or in the comments. I'll pin a comment to that. But that's a sharpener that I really like, and like I said, I use it all the time. I've been using one of those for the past 15-20 years, ever since the products come out, and it is great. What brand sharpener that you haven't had? This is a Smith's sharpener. They run about $3, maybe $3-4 at Walmart. You can get them on Amazon and everything. I lost mine and went on Amazon, got a new one here. But I love this sharpener. Super easy. I've even used it on my swords, sharpening my swords and everything, and I can get that razor sharp, finish on my swords. But yeah, Smith's knife sharpener right there, Smith's. And so just really good, and I love it. And so what other things here? But yeah, Wednesday Q&A. What questions do you guys got that maybe I can answer or shine some light on or something like that? And but yeah, sharpening knives, folks. So give me some questions, folks. No questions too hard, too easy, or too dumb, if you want to say that too. But other things here. Let's see, what else can I talk? Let's see, Dad used to use that, but I don't have enough hair on my arm. Yeah, there's times when I'm sharpening all my knives, and yeah, my left arm becomes pretty bare, or it gets a lot of patchiness on that. My grandpa always used a big sharpener attached to his workbench. The great thing, if you have a clamp on your workbench, you can do the tool right and everything. Here, let me see if I can find this really quick here. Electric sharpener. Give me a second. Electric sharpener, knife sharpener. Yeah, because it goes to pencils. Duh. So I can get you the right name for this puppy. But the Smiths, I just see here, the Smiths is $3.98. Super inexpensive, great knife sharpener. The Work Sharp, the MK2 professional electric knife and tool sharpener. That's it. And it's $89. And what I'll do is I'll put a link to that, in the comments below, so you guys got that and everything. But it is, again, the Work Sharp MK2 professional electric knife and tool sharpener. And again, you can sharpen all kinds of things with that, like shovels, hatchets, hoes, a hoe, trowels, anything that you'd use in the garden. It'll sharpen, of course, knives. It has a scissor guide, so you can sharpen your scissors. You can sharpen your hedge trimmers, anything that may have like a scissor sort of function. It has these guides, and it comes, I believe, with two different guides. One is for your knives, and then there is a what is it, 13 or 15 degree that is for your knives. And then they have another one with a larger degree, and you can use that for your axes and stuff. But then underneath that, they have grooves for doing scissors and so forth. Or you can just take the guide off, and it will, you can just kind of freewheel it and everything and sharpen it that way. Sometimes when I'm really wanting to get a razor edge, I'll put a 3000 grit belt on it, and you can also tip the head, so you can get different angles and everything. And I'll start sharpen my swords like that and get a super sharp edge that way as well. But it's a super functional knife sharpener. You can sharpen your knives, your tools, your axes, hatchets, things like that, and it really works good. Got to keep the tool sharp for anything that requires a sharp tool. Totally agree. I have a very small Fiskars sharpener. I use a sharpening stone, Holly says. It was my granddad's. I have a problem with sharpening stones. I have a complete Japanese sharpening kit with all the different stones. You got to put them in water and let them soak for a while and everything. And my problem is I have a hard time maintaining the angle. And so my edge angle gets a little wonky, especially when I start doing some of my swords or something like that. For knives and everything, I can usually keep it that way. But I've just found the work sharp to really be a great way to get my knives super sharp. And in fact, I believe they even have leather strops belts that you can add to the collection so that you can even get that leather strop going and have a super honed knife. Good morning, everyone. I'm a bit under the weather. Oh no, Joan, I'm sorry to hear that for you. So hopefully you're feeling better. So, but yesterday I was talking about seeds and getting your garden ready. I don't know about you. I am super excited to get my garden moving. You don't know how bad I want to get out there and start doing stuff and start planting stuff. But I know the moment that I do, stinking cold weather is going to set in and kill all my sprouts. So I don't want to, be doing that and everything. So I'm just waiting. I'm going to be speaking at, let's see what it is. See if I can find that here real quickly. Yeah, the March Expo. I'm going to be speaking on March 15th through the 17th. We're going to have 125 classes and speakers, but it is the Bushcraft Preparedness and Homesteading Show in Hinman, Kentucky. And I'm super excited to be a part of that. And a lady named Terry Curry, who runs Aftershock Preparedness, new freeze dry. Well, it's not really new, but she's doing freeze dried foods. Sent me a lot of freeze dried foods. I talked about that by last week or something. But I'm going to be speaking at this, and so if you are in the Kentucky area or around Hinman, Kentucky, and maybe you can jump down from Ohio or whatever or wherever, Tennessee. Does Tennessee back up to Kentucky? Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, it does. So if you're in these areas, come on out and visit me. Great show. Is going to be huge, and got a lot of folks from Naked and Afraid and some other folks from TV and everything going to be showing up and things. So I'm excited about doing that and looking forward to. I'll be having all my books there for sale. So come on by, say hi, and buy some of my books. Hang out for a bit and let's chat it up and everything. And in fact, if you're going to be spending a couple days down there doing this and everything, heck, let's go out to dinner or something like that. Love to share some time with you breaking bread. So, but yeah, I'm going to be doing that and looking forward to doing that. Anybody have any questions? This is Q&A Wednesday, so let me help you with some questions or something. Heather says, if I was closer, I'd come for sure. Friends with Terry on Facebook, and it sounds like a great event. Yeah, I was going to go last year, but something happened. I wasn't able to make it. I had to back out. Felt really bad about that, but I'm really looking forward to doing it this year. I'm going to be getting a hotel room and hanging out and staying there. So again, if you guys are going to be coming down or anything like that, love to have dinner with you or something. Let's break bread. But I love doing these shows. I enjoy meeting all you. I enjoy hanging out, chatting, and just doing some great prepper fellowship and stuff. There's some shows coming up. The Survival Boot Camp coming up in Ohio. And then there's another one, and I forget the name of that one that I'm going to be speaking at. They're almost back to back in May. And so I'm going to be doing that one. That's kind of doing some wild camping, or at least, it's all outside. So I'll be bringing my tent and everything like that to hang out and camp in and stuff. She says, I will have to think of some questions next Wednesday. I'm bad at on the spot coming up with questions. That's okay, Heather. So think about it next week. I will be doing this every Wednesday, doing some Q&A, kind of changing things up and helping guys out a lot. I do have a lot of folks asking about electroculture, and the electroculture, what I do is I use, 25 grade, 25, 25, it's copper wire, and you can get it at Lowe's. It runs, at least last year, it was running about $25 for a 50-foot roll. And I wrapped my poles clockwise. I try to use, these long 4-foot poles, and I wrap my poles clockwise. If you live in the northern hemisphere, it's clockwise. If you live in the southern hemisphere, it's counterclockwise. And what I do is I plant those in my ground, and there's something that does it, but takes the electricity out of the air or out of the atmosphere and things and sends it down into the ground. It really helps your plants grow. It really gives, I've noticed that I had very few pests last year. And that's one of the benefits too of electroculture. But it produced a lot of fruits, and my tomatoes were just exploding. I just had tomatoes coming out the wazoo. Other things that I had, my radishes coming out the wazoo, my carrots sprouted, which I have a very hard time with carrots, but my carrots were doing great and everything. In fact, I even still think I got some carrots in the ground. Still, I had so many carrots and stuff. But zucchini, oh my goodness, my zucchini just yeah. Well, zucchini does that anyway, but I was able to do it. And I noticed that I didn't have much leaf mold. The plants that were closer to the poles, I didn't get much leaf mold. Where the plants where I did, that weren't as close to the poles seemed to develop more leaf mold. Where if you guys know, if you're going to do yellow squash or zucchini or something, leaf mold is the huge culprit. And it always happens. But I noticed that my plants that were closer to my electroculture poles didn't develop as much leaf mold. So I think what I'm going to do this year is really, put a lot of electroculture poles in and around my zucchini, my yellow squash, so forth, and something. Joan says, I have a question. What can be used to eliminate spider mites? Joan says, I have a question. So eliminate spider mites. I'm going to really be truthful with you. I don't know a lot of poisons. I don't try to use poisons or anything like that. But what I have found is by using orange, what is it? Something like, I don't have it here, but something like an essential oil that is orange essential oil mixed with water. I found that really helps with a lot of the mite issues. It also helps with a lot of fungus issues and things. Also, maybe sprinkling a little bit of tea tree oil into the mix. But tea tree and orange seems to help with mold. Also helps with some of the critters and things. And I don't know why it does it, but I do know that it does help. So give that a try. I don't know if that'll exactly help with spider mites for sure, but I have used that on my plants last year. And again, I had very little problem with pests and everything last year because I had my electroculture. I was super surprised at the lack of pests, where the prior year, I mean, oh my goodness, I had the white moths like crazy eating all my cabbages and all that. I didn't really have any mites. Maybe I did. I can't remember. The biggest thing that I had problems with were the moths, those white moths, and they just destroy your radishes. They destroy your cabbages or anything, your kohlrabi or your Brussels sprouts, things like that. They just eat the crap out of that. And so that year I was using a bunch of different stuff, trying to get rid of those white moths. But last year, because I was using electroculture, I noticed that I didn't have as much of a white moth problem. So, but yeah, like I said, try the orange oil with some tea tree. Give that a try. Other things that I had problems with is ants. I had some ants getting around in my bed, especially with my zucchini and things. And what I did is I used cinnamon. Cinnamon is a great barrier for ants. For some reason, ants don't like the cinnamon, and it really, messes them up. They don't like it very much. Also, try cornstarch. And what cornstarch does, the ants eat it, take it back, or grits. Same thing. They eat it, take it back, and it dies because it expands in their tummies and doesn't do very well. Cabbage moth are jerks. I totally agree with you. Zucchini doesn't do that for me. We have squash bugs so bad in my area. My zucchini, I really didn't have that many critters. I had the ants. And, the ants get up there and they get into the blossoms and stuff and mess things up and everything there. I guess they're after the nectar or something like that. But I found cinnamon really working well. The mites are on my citrus trees. Again, try orange oil. That, because your citrus trees will benefit also from orange oil. So get something, like an orange, oil and mix it with water, put it in a spray bottle or something like that. But that'll help also benefit not only for the fungus and everything, but it should also help for the mites. So give that a try. Let's see. Oh, I scraped a humidifier and kept the copper from that and garden to try it. Good job. But yeah, I go down to Lowe's and I get a 50-foot roll of copper wire. And in fact, I think I still have some left over this year. I'm going to be adding a lot more. And then I found a really good deal on bamboo stakes on Amazon. And what I'll do is I'll post that too. They are 4-foot decent diameter stakes, and where a lot of the stakes that you get from Lowe's, or I found stakes at Lowe's very, very expensive. They gave you like 6 of them for like $8 or $10, ridiculous. Where these were good round bamboo poles, and like I said, I'll put a link down below of those too, but that's what I use for my electroculture poles and everything. They're about 4 feet long, and I want to say you get 20 of them, or yeah, about 20 of them for like $25 or $23. The price may have gone up thanks to Uncle Joe, but you know, I'll check again the price. But those stakes are the best stakes that I found on the market, unless you got some bamboo around you, you can go cut your own and things. But you know, I do that. What other questions do you guys got? And but I'm excited to start gardening this year. I've got to clean out all my dead tomato plants and everything, and I discovered like I got a bunch of onions growing in and among that. So I'm going to try to transplant these onions and stick them in a more softer soil with maybe more vermiculite and everything, so to loosen up when you know, you don't want to plant onions in a firm soil because you'll get small onion bulbs, whereas if you plant your onions in a very loose sort of soil or sandy soil or something, you'll get some nice big, you know, bulbs. And so I'm going to transplant some of these onions or garlic, or I don't know what it is. I knew I planted something, you know, either a year ago or 2 years ago, and all of a sudden I got some things popping up. So I'm not sure what they are and things. Let's see. Kitchen knives. I don't know if that's a question or anything, but anything to keep stink bugs from the window screens. Oh my goodness. I have no idea. We get stink bugs here like crazy. They do stink. And believe it or not, this is a story, but stink bugs are edible. But you got to soak them in water and let them get all that stickiness out and everything. Down in Mexico, they eat them as a snack and things. And so last year, what I was doing is I was collecting stink bugs like crazy and sticking them in a jar of water to kind of let them soak and everything. And then I was going to fry them up and eat them. But they stink so bad that I honestly couldn't bring myself to fry them up and eat them or anything like that. And but yeah, I don't know anything about stink bugs except a fly swatter. We hate the stink bugs, and we get a lot of them too here. They're just all over the place. We keep a can of Raid on the front porch. Cynthia and I enjoy sitting out in the evenings and hanging out, and yeah, the stink bugs come up, so we keep a can of Raid to be honest, and we shoot the stink bugs that way. So but yeah, what kitchen knives do you suggest? I need something better than what I have. Damascus Japanese. I'm going to be super honest with you. I'm a huge fan of Shun. They are expensive, but these knives last forever. They're a Japanese knife, and each you'll find I've got like 6 Shun knives. I got a big butcher knife. I've got some carbers. I've got a large slicing, aka sushi knife. But each one easily was 100. And in fact, if you watched my video back while where I was doing what was it, standing rib roast, I cut it with one of my Shuns. But Shun knives, I think, are the best. Wusthof out of Germany also has some really good knives. I have a nice chopper that I use a lot that is Wusthof. I mean, pay good money for a knife, and otherwise all these cheapy knives that you buy at Walmart or you know, some of these, you know 20 knives for $19.95, they're all crap. and the metal is crap, and you're going to constantly sharpen them. You're never going to be able to maintain an edge on them. Where my Shuns, I rarely sharpen at all. I have a kitchen steel, a sharpening steel in my kitchen, and I'll go bzz, bzz, and it's back to razor sharp. But Shun knives are on the expensive side, but they are totally worth it. Every single cent. I mean, I've got a poultry knife, I have a paring knife, I have my butcher knife, I have my slicer or my sushi knife. What other ones do I have? I actually have a chopper. Um, but I love Shun, and they're totally worth the money. They hold their edge for stinking forever, and they're super easy to sharpen, especially if you have a steel. You bzz, bzz, and it is razor sharp again. And I don't dishwash those knives. I don't put them under a lot of hot water or anything like that. I hand wash them with a brush, not a scouring pad or anything. And yes, these Shun knives are folded steel and created in the traditional Japanese manner, and they are just insane knives. Do some research on those. But Shun, Shun, or Westhoff out of Germany. Westhoff makes some really good knives as well. So those are the two knives that I really like. I like Rada and Cutco. Cutco knives are great too. You know, I'm a big fan of Cutco. My dad actually used to sell Cutco and everything, so we had a lot of Cutco knives and everything. Great steel, very good. And then because they have a lifetime warranty also. But the great thing about a Cutco knife is if you go to a lot of these gun shows, you'll see a Cutco dealer there usually, and he'll usually have a good sharpener. You know, the official Cutco sharpener that, you know, the salespeople have. They're able to put an edge back on your knife really well. But Cutco knives are also very good. On the expensive side too, you're going to pay money for a good knife. My other knives that I have two others that I love, and it's made by Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri, yeah, Guy Fieri, and it's his knuckle buster knives. They don't make them anymore, and but they're a very high carbon steel. I like a high carbon steel knife because you can get a razor edge on them. Super easy to sharpen and everything. But my Guy Fieri knives, you know, like I said, you can't get them anymore. But those ones I love, and it's called the Guy Fieri Knuckle Buster. And if you can maybe see them, find some used ones on eBay or maybe in Goodwill or something, they have a red handle and, you know, some black and red handle with some design and everything. Very nice in the hand and things. And going back to Shun makes left and right hand knives too. You'll see a Shun, they have a circle and then a little divot. That's a right-handed knife. Whereas they also do a left-handed knife, which is opposite. They'll have kind of like a roundness and then a you know, and then mark like that if you look at the end of the knife. But Shun makes left and right-handed knives. But I love the Shuns. I use my Guy Fieri's, and I have one Westhoff. But my Shuns are a lot of times my go-to knives when I'm doing stuff, and especially when I'm doing meat. And then also, I actually have an inexpensive or just a very good meat deboning knife, and it's kind of like a curved edge, very pointy. You can get in there between the joints and everything. Not a super expensive knife, but it's butcher grade, and I use that a lot for my trimming up my meats and cutting around the bones and everything like that. Heather says, yes, I do as Westhoff as well. They're made in the USA. Yep, bought a set a few years ago for $1,000. Yeah, I mean, you're going to pay for good knives, but when you pay for good knives, they literally last you for your life. I mean, lifetime. My mom has an old Shun that was my dad's, and that's willed to me. I've asked her, please give that to me, you know, in the will. But that Shun knife, I want to say, is from the 1960s, and it is still a beautiful knife. It still holds an insane edge and everything. Holly says, I have a set of Cutcos, and they're very good knives. Yeah, again, they're really great. You can go to gun shows or outdoor shows or something, and usually there is a Cutco dealer there. and everything. And then also, if your knife ever gets damaged or anything, you mail it back to the company and they'll either repair it or give you a new one. They have a lifetime warranty, and then they'll sharpen it up for you too. So I'm going to have to say goodbye. Devotional is starting. Okay, we'll see you there, Heather. Sorry, Cutco was made in US. I wasn't confused at all. Good. Okay. But bye, Heather. But yeah, that's what, so we're kind of talking knives and everything, but those are the ones that I love. And so look into the Shun. You can get on Amazon, check them out, look at what you want and everything. I would really recommend a paring knife, a chopper, and then a butcher. And so those are the three knives that I tend to always go to with those. So let's see. Any other questions from you guys at all? Anything at all? Gardening, prepping, dehydrating, anything like that. So, but wow, we've been here for 30 minutes. So that's it, folks. I'm going to say goodbye. Next Wednesday, Q&A. So write your questions down and have them ready for next Wednesday. I'm wanting to do this on a weekly basis and just have fun answering questions and talking to y'all. So Raymond Moore, Kilt the Prepper. We'll see you. Goodbye. God bless and Kilt on.